Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we are here on a Raw review. Up a little bit later than normal. Actually, might actually get it up on time just because the tier list site I thought was down, but it was just my browser thought it was down. I don't really know, so I had to switch browsers and all of a sudden it started working. But that's a whole side thing. But let's just jump into it. We started off the show with CM Punk. I know I have LA Knight's picture here, but CM Punk came down talking about that he still wants Seth Rollins, and then obviously LA Knight interrupts him, saying that he also does because he had the match to beat him, but CM Punk cost him. So essentially, we know where this was going, but they did do a little bit of a swerve, which I don't think was necessarily they wanted to do this, but it's what happened. So basically, then Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker come down. They obviously all want to get into a fight, which will lead to our main event at the end of the show. I thought this promo was great. I mean, obviously, both LA Knight and CM Punk are one of the better people that do promos, so I thought they did good. And it's kind of like one of those weird promos where it's like they're not really necessarily like they're just passively aggressively mad at each other and that's it. And they're just more mad at somebody else, which are always kind of a little bit of a fun, weird promo. So I'll put up an S tier. It was a good way to start off the show. Next up, we had Dominic Mysterio and El Grande Americano versus AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. This match absolutely cooked. I mean, I feel like the problem with it was I feel like the pin was always going to be the who takes the pin here with AJ Styles actually being the one. I kind of am surprised, but honestly, the other three men are in a huge title match this weekend in AAA, so like any of them eating the pin would also not make any sense. But this match was pretty solid. I mean, for a starting match, and they gave him quite a long time too. It was a good 16-minute match, and um, yeah, I mean, I feel like Dom has gotten to a spot where his, his attitude, his character, all of that was always great, but his wrestling is really catching up on that too. I think he's very competent in the ring. He can do all of his stuff really well. It doesn't look too bad. And then obviously Dragon Lee is phenomenal. Ludwig is El Grande Americano, works really well. I felt he was always a solid wrestler anyways. And then obviously AJ Styles is the phenomenal one. So it makes sense. I put this, I think, on a solid B. It was a really good starting match. Definitely fun, a fun match. And we had Sami Zayn versus Rusev. Um, I don't know. I've not been a big fan of Rusev's return. I don't know. I wasn't really attached to him when he came in like first through WWE, like the first beginning. I remember him like debuting, I think, with like him going after John Cena and all that. And I never really was a fan too much of that gimmick. It was just monsters are cool, but like they have a shelf life because like they have to really just run over people for as much as humanly possible. But once they start stacking up wins, if they don't have a solid gimmick or a solid anything, just doesn't really work out. And I'm also not a big Sami Zayn fan, so like this match didn't really do it for me. I still thought it wasn't the worst fan I've ever seen. I thought it was okay. So I put it in C. I think it was, it still deserved to be on the show. I like that they're at least giving a like little side storyline with Sheamus also attached to all of this. Obviously, it was a DQ because the My Family Tree came down because Solo was mad that he got pinned by Sami Zayn. Again, not really sure. Also, I don't really understand. Like, they came down to take out Sami Zayn, but Sami gets the win. But like, that doesn't make any sense. It should just be a no contest. I don't know. Maybe it's just a cage match thing, but I don't feel like Sami should have been the winner here because like it wasn't that Rusev didn't cheat, so it should just be no contest. Next up, we have Io Sky versus Roxanne. Now, this was absolutely going to be an amazing match. I just had a feeling. Um, Honestly, Io's always going to be an S tier, A tier wrestler every single time, and this was really no exception. They gave him a lot of time to go out there too, because this was supposed to be Io versus Naomi, but Naomi was hurt. I'm not sure if that's a work or not, but I think overall this was pretty good. There was a few moments that didn't make this, I think, a solid S, but I think overall it was still a phenomenal match, and it was like match of the night, but like obviously you did not expect it, right? So it's like you had to have known this was going to be top tier. So we'll put that up in A, and then obviously the ending was with Kyrie and Asuka accidentally costing her the match. Again, it was barely any interference and barely any of the thing of why they'd be upset. I feel like they could have done it a little bit better because I know they're trying to have it where Damage Control turns on it, or the Kabuki Warriors actually turn on EO. So like, if they're gonna do that, they should have made it a little bit more. I don't know, a little bit more costly. Like kind of getting not bumped into and rolled up wasn't. I don't know. It's just it felt kind of a cheapened win, but it's whatever. In the back, then they all kind of get upset, and Asuka pushes Io, and then Kairi doesn't know what to do, so she follows Asuka away. I'm here for it. If we get a Kabuki Warriors versus Io and Rhea, I'm in this game. I love Asuka. She's still one of my favorite wrestlers. Io's one of my favorite wrestlers. So having those in a match, and also Kairi Sane on top of all that, you already got me sold. And you still have Rhea Ripley somewhere else too. That's a whole nother just added to this bonus. So this is like a dream match if this ends up happening. So I'm gonna go put it up in S tier. And then we obviously had Rhea comforting Io. I like their interactions a lot. I feel like the women's main event scene is so stacked right now that like you don't know what to do with certain people. This is what you do. Use that tag division. If you're not going to make legitimate tag teams, then just make a tag team of opportunity. It's worked really well with Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. If you make Io and Rhea have a match against the Kabuki Warriors and they defeat the Kabuki Warriors and then they go on to facing Charlotte and Alexa like later on, why not? That's going to be an absolute golden match. That's star power galore that you can have not just a regular event that has two women that have a title match. Now you have four women that are at top of their game. And if you're not going to make a legitimate tag division, this is the next best option because it gets a lot of people opportunities that to be on cards, and it's probably going to be defended on PLEs because that's how big these names are. So yes, everything about this I'm good with. Hopefully we get Io and Rhea tagging up together. Then we had Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree. This got flipped at the last minute to a Intercontinental Championship match. There was a few things I thought that were wrong about this match, just on a necessary thing. Obviously, they gave Maxine a lot of like offense, and I'm cool with that to a certain extent. I feel like Becky should have equally got some more offense in. She kind of just got her into the arm bar, and then she just kind of that was it. I felt like there could definitely been a little bit more. I feel like Becky should have started off the match just whopping her, and then Maxine, rallying, and then eventually getting put down by the submission. I think it would have worked a little bit better. They only gave them 5 minutes, so it was a little rough either way. But I don't think it really did much for Maxine. I mean, I'm glad that she's got a wrestling match. I mean, that's wrestling, getting a match on Raw. Even if it's not on a weekly basis and just getting there as much as possible, I don't think there's anything wrong with just getting a match. Like sometimes you just got to get that time to be in front of people. I put it in C, but it was still pretty nice to see it happening. Then we had I'm gonna go two-parter on this. It was the Bailey promo, just talking about how she needs to change and that she might not be good enough to do all that, which is just kind of heartbreaking because it feels almost like real. Like they just asked her about like always getting passed up and all that type of stuff. And then Lyra kind of crashing out, being like, it's not my fault and stuff. I kind of like what they're doing here because it's putting Lyra in a very difficult position that makes Lyra almost look like a heel, even though she's supposed to be a babyface, so that can make her easily turn. And it's also making Bailey at least be like in the eye of everybody because again there's not much for Bailey to do because the women's division is just so stacked, and if we think that they ever are going to call up anybody in NXT this year, that's going to make it even worse. And the mid-card titles are in a decent spot, at least the IC title right now, that like there could be some developed feuds because I forgot also with the Becky Lynch thing, Natalia came up to her and like told her the like basically back off, and then Becky knocked her down, which will definitely be another match and hopefully another title match because get these title defenses. We want to see them defend it. I mean, maybe that's just me, but I want to go on a Raw and at least see one title match. Every Raw should at least have one. And same thing with SmackDown. I think it doesn't matter what title it is, it should have one title defense at least, if not more. That's just my feeling, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, this promo and everything that from Bailey and then the stuff with Lyra, I'm liking what they're doing. I'm not sure what they're doing, but I'm liking it. Then we get to our main event: CM Punk and LA Knight versus the Vision. They now have a name: Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. The Vision is pretty decent. Makes sense with the Vision area. I think it's a pretty simple name, but pretty effective. The match itself was pretty good. We also had a couple interactions with Jey Uso in the back, which is more important later on. Basically, Roman's not going to show up like Roman doesn't do, so Jay's going to be eventually added to that fatal four way at Clash of Paris when it definitely should have been Roman. It's I don't know. I think Roman Reigns is a great wrestler, great character worker, but man, does that peeve me off that he just up and leaves in the middle of storylines because it's not even that the hiatus thing, because like if that's really what he's wants to do and WWE's cool with it and all of that, it's all understandable. But this man just like mid storyline just dips, and I don't understand that. This is right in the middle of everything, and it's just nah, that's not it. So yeah, we got this pretty decent match. I don't think it was anything too special. We knew it was going to be a DQ with Seth Rollins returning. Um, I kind of feel like Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker really need a signature win here. Like this is getting a little bit weird. I know they kind of like teased maybe Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns at Clash of Paris, but I highly doubt that. But I'll put this in a solid B for the storyline and the match. Everything about it was pretty decent. And then we were talking about this Fatal 4-Way at Clash of Paris. I personally like it. I do feel like Jay is the weird one out, and it kind of puts it like, well, who eats the pin here? Because like obviously Jay can't really survive it. CM Punk just got pinned, so it has to be LA Knight, and that kind of just sucks for him to be put into this match to just get the pin. So I still think it's going to be a good match, so I'm going to put it up in S tier. I'm going to put Raw altogether as a B. I liked a lot of the segments. I thought the segments that they did were all really good. Obviously, have all of them towards the top. I think I have all of them up in the top. The matches themselves were pretty good. It really got saved by that EO match, which I still think the EO and Roxanne Perez combo probably would have produced a better match than her and Naomi, but I don't know. And I really hope Naomi's not actually hurt because that's going to really suck for her because she just got the title, and I always hate when that happens for people. But yeah, if you guys enjoy these Raw reviews, we do Raw, NXT Evolve, and SmackDown. A little bit light last week because of just timing and stuff, but this week we should be fully committed to all that. We've been putting up a bunch of shorts, so if you guys like to see a bunch of just wrestling content, that's what's going to be going on. And so until next time, bye guys.